Right now, and new at 6, searching for a cause.
It wouldn't make me unhappy if they moved.
As neighbors discuss the business that burned, the son of the business owner tells us how he suspects the fire started. And air quality concerns.
Anytime we have huge amounts of smoke, we're concerned about people's health.
What environmental experts say you should do tonight if you live near the burn zone. Plus, what's next?
I'm thankful to get out with my kids and my husband, but everything we have is in there.
Who's lending a hand to those who lost everything?
This is K2 News at 6 on your side.
Fire crews are still spraying thousands of gallons of water and fire retardant on a huge pile of charred cars at a scrapyard in northeast Portland tonight. Chopper 2 over the scene right now. You see a small flare-up they're trying to knock down that just kicked up over the last few minutes.
It was a completely different picture this morning. Gas tanks and tires fueled the fire at Northwest Metal. Fire burned beyond the scrapyard, destroying an apartment complex and a duplex, even killing several cats.
And good evening. Thanks for being with us, everybody. I'm Steve Dunn.
And I'm Deborah Knapp.
We do have multiple crews who have been at the scene all day long. K2's Reed Andrews caught up with some people who were forced to evacuate. And Kelly Azer is tracking the potential environmental impacts of the fire in the air and in the water.
Plus, Bob High is looking into the timeline of the fire, but we want to begin with K2's Joe Douglas, who's looking into the wrecking yard where this fire started. And Joe, you spoke with the son of the business owner.
Deb, firefighters are still actively battling this fire right now. The business has two names, Northwest Motors and Northwest Metals Incorporated. Moyada Anada, the son of the business owner, tells me he suspects this fire was intentionally set, though he was not here when it happened and he couldn't say for sure. Portland Fire and Rescue, the lead investigating agency, would not confirm Anada's claims. They say the investigation has not even started. Anada says one of the business's managers called him around 9 this morning, about 5 minutes before he got into work, to tell him the fire began. He says flames erupted in the back of their auto scrapyard near a brand new shredding machine that was just installed. He says that the business was targeted several times over the past 4 or 5 years, though he would not say how. Firefighters said the business was storing gasoline in barrels on the site. One neighbor tells me he wasn't surprised to see it go up in flames. Another calls this place an eyesore.
I knew exactly what it was when I had seen it from my house. I work for a tow company, and about 3 months ago, I towed a vehicle out of here, and they were saying how not to be smoking around there, and you can smell fumes coming out of the building, you know, gas.
It wouldn't make me unhappy if they moved, but I wouldn't want to move into another area and do the same thing. I'd like to see them out further out on the edges of town if they have to be close to a town.
A spokeswoman for Portland Fire and Rescue says authorities are not aware of any attempts to target the business in the past. Anada says it has not caught fire before. A neighbor sent us a photo she says she took a month ago showing a large stack of scrapped vehicles in the yard. She says the stack got even higher these past few weeks. Anada told me he'd be able to talk more with me about this fire when he gets some time, but understandably, he and his family who run this business have a lot on their plate right now. Live in Northeast Portland, Joe Douglas, K2 News.
I'll bet they do, Joe Douglas. Thank you for that. And fire investigators won't be able to enter the fire scene to look for the cause of that fire until at least tomorrow morning. K2's Bob High is live at the fire tonight with more on plans for tonight. What's happening, Bob?
Well, Steve, firefighters will stay here on the scene, as you can see them here behind me, all night long, pouring water on hot spots from the fire all through the night, making sure it doesn't flare up and cooling it down so investigators can start looking for what caused the fire. Fire broke out just before 9 o'clock this morning in a lot piled with crushed cars in the back lot at Northwest Metals. Witnesses at nearby businesses say the first time they noticed the flames, the fire was already billowing black smoke. Oregon's Department of Environmental Quality told K2 News the business does not have any special permit to handle hazardous materials. Authorities are now checking the company's history and whether it needed special permits for the work it was doing when the fire broke out.
DEQ will be doing an investigation. They always check to make sure that permits and procedures and processes have been followed. And then we will, of course, take a look at our inspection records and see what's been going on here.
The fire was so large the Portland Fire Bureau eventually sent its call out for crews to 5 alarms. That's the largest call out possible for the Fire Bureau. Fire crews from several surrounding communities, including Gresham and Vancouver, were sent to Portland to help out with fire response while crews battled the blaze. Again, live here, fire investigators won't be able to access the site until at least tomorrow after the fire is completely out to start looking for what caused this blaze. Live in Northeast Portland, Bob High, K2 News.
Bob, thank you. And tonight, people within a 1-mile radius of the fire are still encouraged to shelter in place, keeping doors and windows closed. Portland Fire and Rescue fully evacuated homes from Northeast 75th Avenue west to Northeast 72nd, shown here in the red, and people from Alberta to Killingsworth. They ask you to stay away from that fire zone.
It's scary. We checked on all of our neighbors and made sure they were doing okay.
Also today, neighbors assisting firefighters trying to get everybody out as that strong wind pushed the thick smoke over the entire area.
K2's Reed Andrews is live for us. And Reed, 2 buildings were destroyed, but we don't know if the extent to any damage to nearby structures.
Well, that's what people are waiting for. We just learned within the last few minutes from the Red Cross they have 5 families that they are taking care of at the shelter about a mile from here. They're expecting more as people get home from work. This fire is still a very active scene. The winds continuing to come in, and that's what's delayed exactly when people are going to be able to come home. For folks closest to the fire, they didn't have much time to collect what they could. They were forced to just rush out and get out. Now, the Red Cross set up that information area about a mile from here for the folks that when the fire started, they were not allowed to go home yet. So far, they've had to wait more than 8 hours. Portland Fire called that 5th alarm around 10 a.m. About a half hour later, they started going door to door for the homes along 73rd and 72nd Avenues, telling people that they needed to get out. The wind was coming from the east, so the businesses immediately north weren't impacted at all, but it was a rough day for the people in the homes that were just west of where this fire started.
Yeah, I have a lot of important things in there. I never really got a chance to get down there, so.
Oh my gosh, it smells so bad. It's like if you just were burning like plastic, it's like what's going on?
Yeah. It kept getting bigger and bigger. The huge black smoke was in place for like 40 minutes, easy.
Now, the Red Cross is assisting people, but right now we don't know how many people will be out of their homes tonight. Northeast Killingsworth Street from 72nd to 82nd Avenue still closed down, but it actually looks at this exact moment that it is being opened up. As you can see, an ODOT truck right over there towards 82nd Avenue is starting to take down the barrier, so it appears that eastbound traffic on Killingsworth Street is beginning to open up right there. There has been a small trickle of cars that have been allowed to move in and out at this point, but again, right now it appears like Killingsworth Street is about to reopen. We're live in Northeast Portland. Reed Andrews, K2 News.
That would be good news for those folks over there. Reed, thank you. The fire also impacted education today. Portland Public Schools evacuated 1 school in the area. Sacagawea Head Start was just blocks from the fire, so the school called it quits in the morning. Nearby Scott School had students shelter in place to minimize their exposure to smoke. 2 other schools kept a close eye on the situation.
Well, dogs also needed help getting out of the fire's way. A rescue and rehabilitation center for dogs was just downwind from the fire. Workers had to evacuate about a dozen dogs. Oregon Humane Society responded, handing out crates and other supplies. They're offering to help any homeowners who had to evacuate and need a place to keep their pets. If you need help, you can call the Humane Society at 503-285-7722.
And while much of the fire is knocked down now, many of us are left wondering what's lingering in the air and what could be in the water after huge plumes of black smoke blanketed North Portland for much of the day.
K2's Kelly Ozair is live in Northeast Portland, and you spoke with health officials. Do we need to be concerned, Kelly?
Well, I was told anytime there is smoke in the air, we do need to be concerned. And unfortunately, this time, we also need to be concerned about what is burning. Take a look behind us. We are starting to get a real view of those burned out cars. And according to health officials, cars are a cause for concern. Portland Fire and Rescue and the Multnomah County health officials were asking residents all around the area to not only shelter in place, but also shut their windows and doors and turn off their air conditioners to keep the smoky air from getting inside. But even when the fire is put out fully, that doesn't mean we're out of the woods. Health officials tell me that particles from some of these materials can linger and hang in the air for some time. This is why DEQ, along with the EPA, are testing air quality.
The nature of the fuel is crushed cars, and it's not so much the metal burning as everything inside, the fabric, the floor mats, the steering wheels, stuff like that. They're all made of various fibers and plastics and things like that.
Dr. Lewis also says smoke like this can be particularly concerning for babies, and elderly, and those with lung issues such as asthma. So if you can avoid the area, you should, or use a mask. Now, we also checked in with the Portland Water Bureau, who says some discolored water has popped up in the Coley neighborhood. They say it should dissipate within the next few hours, but residents in the area who are concerned should run their faucets for at least 30 seconds before using their water. Now, back out here live, those of you who are living in the path of the smoke, with smoke still lingering overhead, it is recommended that you continue to keep your doors and windows closed and that AC off if you can. It could be a few days before we learn the full extent of the air quality out here because of the fire. We're live in Northeast Portland. Kelly Ozair, K2 News.
All right, Kelly, thank you. And that endless stream of smoke started just after 9 o'clock and has been spewing into neighborhoods ever since.
We want to bring in meteorologist Dave Selesky. So, Dave, what was the wind like at the time?
Oh, the wind did two things. First of all, it caused that smoke plume to reach all the way over onto the west side of the metropolitan area, over towards Hillsborough. We've been seeing east winds all day long, anywhere from 15 to 20, 25 miles an hour coming out of the gorge. And, of course, that did cause that fire to expand and may have led to the destruction and damage of some other buildings around that fire. We're still seeing strong east winds. You can see both from the live shots and also here from our reporting stations. East winds at 16 now out of PDX, east at 21 miles per hour at Troutdale. Those east winds will be sticking around for the rest of this evening, and that's why firefighters will keep a very close eye on that burning pile of old cars out in Northeast Portland. And the good news is air quality across the area has somewhat improved in the last hour. You can see we have good air quality now throughout the entire metropolitan area, and that has been consistent for the last few hours as that fire has died down and that smoke plume has come to an end. But again, as you've heard earlier, DEQ will be monitoring that for at least the next day or two. We'll talk more about some changing weather here in the Pacific Northwest, about some wet weather. I have the forecast for you a few minutes from right now. Back to you.
Okay, Dave, thank you. This viewer video shows just how far the smoke traveled. This was sent to us by Heather Boyce. From what looks like northwest Portland, the smoke thins out, but you can see it stretches all across the horizon. Sam Sachs posted this upcoming video on Facebook showing the huge plume of smoke nearly blotting out the morning sun. That's impressive. And this shot from Alex Borsick must have been taken just minutes after the fire started. You can see the smoke is as black as can be and billowing across the sky. If you want to show us what you saw, we'd love to see it. The easiest way to upload your video or pictures is to burst.com/K2. You can also post them to our Facebook and Twitter pages.
Our coverage of the scrapyard fire continues live in the next half hour today. We'll take a look at a time-lapse video of how the smoke moved across the Portland sky. And this is not the first five-alarm fire in Portland. Look back at some of the others you may remember. That's coming up at 6:30 tonight.
A local university just started a study that some say could save lives. Coming up, how UW hopes to help some of our most vulnerable citizens.
Plus, a Girl Scout cookie stand nearly robbed at gunpoint over the weekend. Coming up tonight, how a mom convinced an armed robber to leave all the cookies and money behind.
I'm Chris Lytle live in Hillsborough. A popular Taekwondo instructor faces new child sex abuse allegations. Why detectives tell me they believe there are additional victims out there. Plus, how to have that difficult conversation with your child. We talk with an abuse prevention specialist. Hear from her coming up.
Affordable dentures and implants. What are implants? They lock in a denture so it doesn't move. They're life-changing. Can we afford them? We can now. They made implants affordable. You do look great. We feel even better. Time to get our smile back. Time to get our life back.
Lock down your denture with affordable implants. Call 1-800-2-IMPLANT today. One call and one day can change your tomorrow.
Stay and buffet. Now through March 16th, book a midweek getaway for just $109 and get 2 nights and a buy one, get one free breakfast buffet. Book your 2-night stay and buffet package today at Spirit Mountain Casino.
Are you still struggling with your New Year's resolution? Stubborn fat that just won't go away? Now you can lose that stubborn fat at Sonobello, America's #1 cosmetic surgery specialist. In a single customized procedure, Sonobello gently removes fat in just 1 day and shapes your body for life-changing results.
I just never thought that I would get there, and look at me now.
Why wait? Discover the new you. With over 100 board-certified plastic surgeons across more than 40 locations nationwide, now is the time to get your best body. Call 888-389-7531 to schedule your free, no-obligation consultation. Remove your stubborn fat in as little as 1 day. Book now and get $250 toward looking your very best. That's $250 toward your love handles, thighs, even your chin. Call for your free no-obligation consultation today and find out how to get $250 off. This is a limited time offer. Call 888-389-7531 now.
Garage door or opener issues? Let Dave's Garage Doors help. Every service call includes a complete inspection and tune-up of your door and opener. Mention this ad and get $10 off your service call. Visit davesgaragedoors.com today. We're big enough to count, but small enough to care.
Guys, as we age, we all have problems with our energy level or sexual function. Could be occasional, could be often. You may have tried supplements or pills and they just didn't work.
Here at Universal Men's Clinic, we have a very high success rate, often with just one visit.
I'm Dr. Charles Arakaki of the Universal Men's Clinic. Our doctors specialize in treating ED and low testosterone. We can help you regain intimacy, strength, and energy. You can stop feeling old.
Call Universal Men's Clinic at 503-445-2700.
A Beaverton Taekwondo instructor arrested again yesterday on 4 counts of sex abuse after investigators say 2 more victims came forward. 51-year-old Shidoden Ranjit pleaded not guilty at his arraignment.
K2's Chris Lytle is live outside the Washington County Courthouse in Hillsborough for us now. And Chris, detectives believe there may be more victims out there?
Yeah, I'm told that they may be also filing some more charges in the future. The detectives are following up on some new leads. They also said that Mr. Ranjit had access to a lot of children as he was a popular Taekwondo instructor.
Unfortunately, people in power have a particular advantage over kids.
Karen Corbin, a family support intake supervisor at the Children's Center in Oregon City, works with children who are often victims of physical, emotional, or sexual abuse. It can sometimes take years for kids to come forward, fearing shame, embarrassment, and ridicule.
They hold it inside until sometimes things happen to other kids and that gives them the freedom to talk about it, or sometimes they've just gotten to the point where they're going to be okay to talk about it.
In November 2017, Ranjit was arrested and charged with 15 counts of sex abuse. According to court documents, Ranjit allegedly inappropriately touched 3 girls between 2012 and 2015. Ranjit most recently operated a studio called U.S. West Coast Taekwondo on Southwest Parkway in Beaverton, but detectives say some of the alleged abuse occurred inside his former studio on Southwest Canyon Road in Portland. For parents whose children may have trained there or were with Ranjit, detectives say it's best for parents to stay away from leading questions and refrain from using someone's name. Corbin recommends this.
To say, hey, you know, if anything has ever happened to you or if there's anything that you want to tell me, I'm here to listen and to help you.
It may take a few attempts, and always reassure them it is not their fault.
You know, when things like this happen, it's an opportunity to parents to check in with their kids.
Ranjit's next court appearance is scheduled for early April. I reached out to his family, his close friends, and his defense attorney. They declined to comment. Live in Hillsborough, Chris Lytle, K2 News.
All right, Chris, thank you. This is New at 6 now. We are learning about a big fertilizer spill down in Salem. Here's what's happening. The Marion County Sheriff's Department says a car carrying 1,500 gallons of fertilizer rolled over on Vitae Springs Road south. Crews shut down the road for hours as they worked to plug the car's leak and clean up what had spilled.
We want to bring in meteorologist Dave Selesky and get back to that breaking news story we've been following all day. Let's take a live look at what's left of the Northwest Metal scrapyard in northeast Portland. It's been burning since this morning. Crews have put most of it out, but the charred pile of cars is still smoking. You can see that there. Dave, you were talking earlier about how that smoke covered such a wide area. What's the wind doing now?
Well, the wind right now is still out of the east. We're still seeing east winds about 15 to 20 miles an hour on that side of town. And again, now all we have have now is just a lot of steam and some leftover smoke, not nearly as bad as it was earlier in the day, but we're still seeing that being moved from the east side of the city into the downtown core area, where we still may have some of that smell from that very, very noxious mix of petroleum and tires that were burning earlier in the day. And it's going to be a problem, I think, overnight tonight, as we will see the east winds continue at least through the midnight hour. Now, temperature-wise, we had the warmest day of the year today here in Portland, 69 degrees, 1 degree shy of the record of 70 set back in 1994. It was 70, by the way, up in Vancouver. This afternoon, the Dalles reached 67 degrees, 72 today for Salem. And look at the coast, 71 for Astoria, 72 in Tillamook. Newport today had a high temperature there of 73 degrees. Currently here in Portland, we have high overcast skies. We're sitting right now at 66 degrees. And as you can see, the east winds still out there at 16 miles an hour now out at PDX. We're seeing east winds about 20 to 22 miles an hour out towards the west end of the gorge in Troutdale and in Corbett at this hour. On the Oregon coast, sign of a changing weather pattern. Increased low clouds out here. It's still dry, still a very nice night. As you can see, 70 degrees the current temperature out at the end of Spanish Head in Lincoln City, and southwest winds here at about 6 miles an hour. So our winds here in the last hour has switched from easterly to southwesterly over in the Oregon coast as we begin to see the leading edge of this weather system moving into the Pacific Northwest overnight tonight. As a matter of fact, on radar, you can begin to see a little bit of moisture here popping up on the radar just off the Oregon-Washington coastline. That's the leading edge of the system that will bring a change to our weather pattern. Here's the hour-by-hour forecast. You can see between now and tomorrow morning, we have rain for the coast, rain up and down the I-5 corridor, including here in Portland. So plan on a damp Tuesday morning commute. That rain will continue throughout much of the day. Snow levels in the Cascades tomorrow start about 6,500 feet, then drop down to about 5,000 feet by the end of the day. So again, the mountain passes will remain wet, but just above mountain pass level, we will have some new snow coming down, perhaps 2 to 4 inches of snow there. And then going into Wednesday, more the same, more showers out there and cool temperatures. So our fling with spring-like weather, if you will, pretty much over and done with for the foreseeable future. Rainfall amounts will bring in the hour-by-hour forecast. You can see really stack up quickly tomorrow, so that in the next 24 hours, and again, this goes from tomorrow morning through tomorrow evening, we're talking close to 1/3 of an inch of rain across the metropolitan area. So tonight in Portland, 46 for the overnight low, 56 for the high, and a fairly damp day tomorrow. Showers and some sun breaks on Wednesday, but highs in the 50s. We're talking 53 now on Wednesday. And then heading in towards the latter part of the week, we're talking scattered showers possible, and St. Patrick's Day may hit a high of 60.
David, thank you.
Well, rainy days can be good for midday naps, but coming up, why some researchers say daytime napping could be dangerous for some.
Plus, it's incredibly common among veterans. Coming up, how UW hopes to change the conversation about PTSD and why they think it will save lives.
I didn't start talking about my trauma until I was on the verge of dying, of killing myself.
K2 Weather is brought to you by A.
Did you know you could easily decrease your home's indoor water use? Here's how. Install WaterSense labeled faucet, aerators, and shower heads. They're at least 20% more efficient than standard fixtures and take about 10 minutes to install. Many water providers provide these items to their customers for free, or you can buy them for as little as $15. Find out how installing these highly efficient fixtures will save you water, energy, and money at www.conserveh2o.org.
More power, more tech, and now more savings. Save big with $4,000 cash back on a 5-star crash-rated Escape. That's a special edition Escape loaded with features, starting at just $24,845 for a limited time, only at your local Ford store.
Need a neck lift? The lipo-lifted aesthetic medicine can permanently remove body fat and tighten skin in a single easy procedure. Take advantage of 0% financing with payments as low as $150 per month.
Visit drdarm.com, then call for a free consultation.
Signature Paving is a full-service paving company. We have the equipment and staff to handle everything from small utility patches and residential driveways up to large commercial and heavy industrial projects. Craftsmanship really is at the heart of the culture at Signature Paving Services. Our staff understands that, and our clients benefit from that. It's a customer experience from beginning to end. It's doing the right thing and a best practice approach every minute of every day.
My
My name is Sandy. I didn't used to go to the dentist because of the fear. My tooth cracked and I had to go. Sleep Dentistry of Portland was down the street from me. I walked in, they were so friendly, I felt so welcome. There is no fear there. I love my dentist. And because there's no fear or trepidation, I faithfully go every 6 months. Since then, my husband goes to Sleep Dentistry of Portland, and now he goes every 6 months. Maybe you should too.
Innovative tech, head-turning style, and now an incredible deal. Save big with $4,000 cash back on a 5-star crash-rated Edge. That's a feature-packed special edition Edge, starting at just $28,210 for a limited time. Only at your local Ford store.
If I go camping, he comes with us. If I go to the beach, he's going to come with us.
K2 News finds out what life's like for canine officers and their dogs when they're not solving crimes.
I always tell people I have the best job in the world.
Tonight at 11, only on K2 News.
New at 6 now, the University of Washington is starting a new research study to help veterans who are suffering from PTSD.
The researchers say veterans have a higher rate of PTSD than the general population. K2's Tammy Mutasa spoke to a veteran about the impact of PTSD and how this study could save lives.
There's a lot of stories there.
The wounds Lindsay Church carries each day are deep.
So I didn't start talking about my trauma until I was on the verge of dying, of killing myself.
Lindsay's battle is PTSD. Her therapy dog, Charlie, is there for each struggle.
You don't know at any moment when you're going to end up being triggered.
For Lindsay, the fight started after a series of surgeries during her active duty in the Navy forced her to medically retire early. Little things would trigger flashbacks.
I still, to this day, can't have the smell of traditional hand sanitizer without blacking out.
UW researchers know those scars haunt veterans' lives. Now they're launching a new research intervention to find veterans like Lindsay and match them to treatment plans.
This intervention is really designed to help people think through the symptoms that they're having and that they're experiencing, and how it's affecting their life, their goals, their relationships.
During the study, veterans will talk to counselors in 3 sessions over 2 months, then have follow-up assessments for 6 months, all done over the phone.
The idea behind a checkup model is to really reduce as many barriers to seeking help as possible.
Help, Lindsay says, will be critical for developing programs that can save lives. She's now the assistant director for UW's Student Veteran Life, an organization she started with other students to provide a safe place for veterans.
Without the research on our student veterans and on our veterans in general, we don't know what they need. And if we don't know what they need, this epidemic of mental health crisis is never going to end.
That was Tammy Matusa reporting. Recently, UW did a similar phone counseling intervention to address alcohol abuse within the veteran community. Researchers say veterans in that study cut their drinking by half. And remember, experts say most mental health episodes are temporary and will pass. There is a hotline especially for vets. If you want to talk to somebody who knows what you're going through because they've been there, you can call the Veterans Crisis Line, 1-800-273-8255. Again, 1-800-273-8255.
More news is just minutes away. Girl Scouts held up.
And she could see what appeared to be a gun in his waistband.
One local community is backing a band of Girl Scouts after a stranger tried to steal all their money. Plus, killer whale return. Who's behind a huge push to bring an orca from an aquarium in Florida to the waters off of Washington where she was born? And welcome to the future. Who released these images of a Jetsons-like car being worked on right now in California? It's all just minutes away.